Welcome everybody back to Forza Horizon 5, and today we're racing the 1992 GMC Typhoon in A-Class. So yeah, pretty solid performance truck for back in the day, for more than 30 years ago, but it's been radically overhauled for racing in online. So yeah, which we'll get to after this first race. So let's just get a teaser in for what this car is capable of. A little bit of an accident there. Backed off just to make it look like I wasn't trying to kill anyone, which I wasn't. But yeah. Still a bit of a weighty beast, being a car of this type and age, but it's by no means as heavy as it used to be. We seem to sometimes struggle to see over the car, so we're going to go into this view. I just realised that when we didn't realise that AI car was coming up on us. Ooh, first and second had a massive crash there. Catching up to the F-Type. Wait, by no means slow. Oh, goddamn Golf! Cut right across us. Well, we were on for a second place, but we're just going to have to settle for fourth now because of the AI traffic getting in the way, but oh well, at least it's not last, and it is top 5. So, yeah, we now have a massive 520 horsepower in this car, which is 240 horsepower more than standard, and 622 pounds-feet of torque extra, which is 262 extra pounds-feet of torque from its now enlarged 5-litre V6 turbocharged engine. It was a 4.3 originally, but yeah, now it's an even bigger 5-litre, which, yeah, it's getting on for the kind of cubic capacity that you'd expect from a V8, never mind a V6. So, yeah, it's probably the largest V6 that you can get on this game when upgraded. I'm probably wrong on that, but there's very few V6s that are even as large as the 4.3 that this had in its stock form. So, yeah, I would be surprised if there's anything larger than even its stock engine, and never mind larger than this upgraded version. So, yeah, yeah, that's obviously generating an impressive amount of power and torque, and even though it still weighs a fair bit, it's, yeah, certainly not struggling with that extra you know, weight that it's got, well, that amount of weight that it's got coming in, because obviously it is lighter than standard, but still, as you can see by the stats, pretty good all round, to be honest. It's only really the launch that is a letdown on this car. Sorry, it's only really a letdown on this car. Not sure why. I know it is the original all-wheel drive system, so, and yeah, maybe it's just not able to deal with all the extra power that we've put into it, but it's still, yeah, that is the one weak spot. But everything else is pretty good. Braking, acceleration, handling, and speed are all fairly solid, especially in comparison to other vehicles that we've had on these A-Class online racing. So, yeah, it's all within the kind of realms of those other cars. But obviously, when it does get up and going after the launch, which isn't obviously that great, the acceleration, especially in the mid-range, is absolutely superb. Handling on the most part is okay. Another stat says that it's pretty good, especially for a car in this class, but it does at times feel like it wants to grip roll. Now, whether or not that is because it does have more grip in the tyres, because they are semi-slick tyres and they are wider at the front and the rear, and or maybe it's a combination of the fact that it only has street suspension. You know, it's not got race suspension or anything like that. It's not a drastically lowered car, should I say? Yeah, and then that obviously means that it's got a high centre of gravity still. But yeah, whatever reason, it does feel like at times it wants to roll over. But most of the time it doesn't. It's only really when you're properly pushing the car that it does feel like it's going to do that. Like with fast corners like that, for instance. Shut up, you stupid horn. So yeah, but the brakes are still pretty good. Again, especially for a car of this size and weight. There is some understeer at times, but that's to be expected with a car of this, again, size and weight and having all-wheel drive on the go. Buick there, messed up badly. The F-Type is struggling to get off the line. Around the corner even. Yeah, this does hold its power pretty well. Run through the corners. Doesn't have the highest of rev ranges, so it's also definitely, you know, working its way through the gears pretty quickly. It's got pretty good acceleration, but obviously not very high in terms of the revs. That does mean that the torque is virtually there all of the time. It's basically like a classic American V8 muscle car in the way that it delivers the power. Just so happens to be a V6 that's turbocharged instead. Because it is such a large V6, that's why it does have so much torque in the first place. Plenty of grip though, especially when the corner is favourable. Come on, I don't want to be forever fourth. Not trying to exploit the ghost mode there, but I did just about get around. Fact is, an F-Type, which is obviously a modern sports car with a huge amount of power, is wrestling around with an SUV that's more than 30 years old, which I find to be really rather enjoyable. Might not be a winner on my part, but that was an enjoyable race. So yeah, this now weighs 3,463 pounds, which is still quite a lot, obviously, but it does mean it is 337 pounds less than what it was in standard form. And yeah, that means that the extra power and extra torque isn't being wasted on any of its original weight. So yeah, and that means acceleration outside of the launch is pretty solid as well. But yeah, the fact is we're beating a Nissan GTR from 2002, which is obviously 10 years newer than us, a Lotus Lease GT1. Not entirely surprised that I've beaten a Buick GSX, because as much as I love that car, it is a bit of a land yacht. So yeah, but again, no surprise that the top two were the Porsche and the Honda. They are proper, you know, track kind of focused sports cars, and yeah, really good at doing that kind of thing. But it was pretty close between me and the F-Type Project 7, so yeah, on the whole, on the good side in that regard. So yeah, this can now do 0 to 60 in 3.051 seconds, 0 to 100 in 8.159 seconds, and going to a top speed of 179 miles an hour. So along with the launch, the top speed isn't the best thing about this car by any means. 179 is easily topped by a lot of cars that you can use in A-Class. I guarantee the F-Type is nudging 190 at least, and I guarantee the Honda NSX RGT is at least able to do more than 180. So yeah, we're by no means the best in terms of top speed, but I feel that this is such an underrated car that some people don't take it seriously, so therefore don't expect it to be as quick as it is, and then really surprised when it's right up the backside, holding the kind of speed that they're holding. And yeah, in these wet conditions, the all-wheel drive system on this car is, yeah, definitely going to help the likes of the rear-wheel drive vehicles that we're up against. So yeah, smashing it through everyone there. Moving up through several places, right back into 4th place again. Can we improve any more on that position though? We'll have to see. It's understeering madly though over the dirt though, but holding it. Oh no, not a Golf again. Curse of the Golf. because of the Gulf. Come on, 4th place is, well, in our grasp, because it seems like the Nissan there missed the checkpoint, so well, technically lost out on any positions there after that collision with the AI car, but we've hardly gained any positions or distance. It absolutely flies out of the corners though. It's just got all of that grip. You don't really have to worry about the power being put down or worrying about any oversteer that's going to come out of flooring it. You do have to watch for some curbs and some, you know, raised parts of the map, because this car, like I said, does want to roll over at times when going through high-speed corners, and you know, if you elevate one side due to the terrain, that's only going to get worse. So yeah, we're in 3rd place now somehow. So we might have missed a checkpoint or crashed. Porsche is wrestling for position. Don't try and push me out the checkpoint. I'm sick of people doing that. That's happened at least 2 or 3 times in my own time while racing on this game, and yeah, I'm not taking any of that kind of nonsense. Thank you. Come on, more speed, more power. Push through, push through. Those brakes really helping slow this car down. It's obviously going to have a lot of momentum with all of that weight behind it. The Nissan had a little bit of an issue there, but it's still got the 2nd place. But I'm glad at least we got a podium position. It's obviously an improvement over any 4th place position that we've had. So no issues with that. That will hopefully knock us up the leaderboard, and yeah, we're only just over 0.6 of a second behind the GTR, which again, being a newer car than us and obviously a lot more sporty, is impressive for us, quite frankly. So yeah, but at least a Buick GSX finished this time, ahead of a Lotus Elise GT1 of all things, so yeah, good for that car, but even better for us. Don't know why the Porsche doesn't have a percentage there, but yeah, we're now in joint 3rd place with the GTR that was just ahead of us. So yeah, I think this is the 2nd race. I think we have one more. Yeah, we do. Right, so let's see what we can do in this 3rd and, well, 4th and final race, because obviously we did have one before this main lobby. But that was just a teaser, basically, before we come into this full-blown championship. So yeah, on the whole, I do prefer this Typhoon over the Cyclone that it is based on, because the Cyclone, as much as that is an icon of, you know, the 90s in terms of being this really rather quite powerful, quite torquey pickup truck that was quicker than a Ferrari from the same kind of day, especially in terms of not 60 time or just in general in terms of a drag strip, I prefer this. I know it's heavier, but I prefer the look of it, and I think on the whole it's a better handling car when upgraded, because it has that extra bit of weight over the rear end. Pickup trucks really do not deal well with, you know, high speed scenarios, especially the older ones like the one that this is based on. So yeah, I do prefer this overall. Not saying it's the best of the two, but it is the one I prefer driving most. And at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. So yeah, let's see what we can do now. Hopefully we do not get cursed by a Golf again. They seem to be everywhere, like little landmines of a trap. Got the land yacht that is the Buick beside us. Well done, you crashed into the back of me. Didn't exactly work out for you either though, did it? Come so we're in third again. Not sure who's ahead of us. Probably the F-Type and NSX again. But I would never really anticipate that I'll be able to beat either of those. They are a lot lighter. In terms of the F-Type, probably a lot more powerful, so yeah, not really surprised that they're ahead and doing well. If I can catch up to them and have fun racing alongside them, then I'm fine with that. Actually, I think it's just the NSX that's ahead. I'm not sure what's the one in blue. Potentially another Skyline. Yeah, I love the colour that you can get this in as well, which is another plus point for me over the Cyclone. The fact you can get it in this bright, garish purple colour, which, yeah, is more akin to something that you'd find on a Lamborghini Diablo than a early 90s American pickup. Balls, lost concentration there. More likely than an American SUV from the early 90s. We were never going to get second place anyway, even if we didn't hit that van. So yeah, so another third place position. So 2 podium positions and a 4th place position for this lobby, and 4th place for the first race, which was just a teaser. So yeah, overall the Typhoon has done well there, I find. It's a pretty damn good car all round. Obviously it does have its weak points. The top speed isn't the best, and the launch is also pretty weak for an all-wheel drive car. You can certainly find far better off all-wheel drive cars off the line, but yeah, I do really like the kit's uniqueness and the fact it's reasonably effective for a vehicle of its type. So yeah, I highly recommend getting it. It's currently the car that you can get for 20 points in the festival playlist. It's well worth getting, and as you can see there, we've gained a 2nd place in this lobby, which again, pretty damn good. So yeah, if you enjoyed driving this car, then I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. If you enjoy racing it, then good on you, quite frankly. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.